Good afternoon, ENVD students. My name is Roberto De Mata. I am the professional academic advisor within ENVD, and with me I have Nate Jones and Alex Harper, kind of going over what we had done earlier in the semester as a transitionary program. This kind of program and presentation we did was pretty much directed at all sophomores and those transitioning to kind of their first 2100 studio or completing their first studios. What we find is that the big shift happens when you go from Dylan and Fernando as your advisors in your first and second year experience to Nate and myself. Now, this is not just a kind of technical thing that happens. This is for very, very many specific reasons that we'll cover in this. But before I get into that, I just want to give the opportunity for Nate and Alex to introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Nate Jones. I am the Assistant Director for Advising and Professional Development. Later on in this presentation, I'll talk more about professional development, but I also am an academic advisor, and that means that many of you will be on my roster, my advising roster, here shortly, and then beginning in the fall, or even before then during the summer if you want, we'll start working together. So watch out for your new advising assignment.
And hi, I'm Alex Harper. I'm the academic coach that is assigned to you in the first and second years, but also sticks with you through the third and fourth. So you'll have me for all 4 years as support alongside the advising staff.
Awesome, thanks for introduction. Just a reminder, while we would have rescheduled this as another presentation event at ENVD, this did occur during the great Corona panic of 2020. And we are happy that we're offering this option. And for those who are watching this video way further down the line, just know that we made this work. All right, so just an introduction once again of our entire CASA advising staff. We have Fernando, who does foremost advising, but he's also recruitment in the DWB, Designers Without Boundaries scholarship program, along with myself. We have also Dylan West, who's the Assistant Director of Advising and the first year experience. He also does ELP, the Emerging Leadership Program, as well as first year mentors, which have helped you out in your courses and have served as TAs before. And you have Alex there as well. So on our larger administrative leadership, will also help us advise often as well. We have Aaliyah Richmond, who's currently on maternity leave, but she will be returning by early this summer and then going into fall, so she'll be here. Her baby's absolutely adorable as well. So she is the Director of Academic Advising since services. She also will be handling petitions. And then we have Peggy Gordon, who's the Assistant Program Director of all of advising and academic services for our school. So she does a lot of things having to do with scheduling, working with faculty directly, and curriculum. So if you see her around, say hi. We're all in the same hallway along with faculty as well. So we pretty much all introduced ourselves here, but we're your upper division advising team with a specific mission and goal that we're going to go into for the rest of this presentation. So just as a recap, we had some specific goals and desired outcomes of first and second year experiences just to get your feet wet with what ENVD is, what kind of design in the CU campus, as well as different opportunities to get involved. So coming this fall, these are some questions you should ponder. Directly, you'll see that your advisor will change. Why is that? What does this mean for yourself? And how will my new advisor benefit me other than being really cool? Or being Nate too. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, what does the rest of your journey in ENVD have in store? Which is a lot of things. It will change a lot. Okay. For that, I will let Alex here cover our academic coaching component that's been integrated into CASA very well since past fall going into spring. There we go.
Out of all these changes that are happening, one thing that won't change is coaching. Support that you'll receive from your advisors and from me. And so what academic coaching is in terms of the Center for Student Achievement is that it is a supplementary support service alongside advising that works with you through skill building in terms of scheduling, time management, file management, organization, communicating with your professors, and also the circumstances that happen outside of classes, as we've seen from this last semester with the transition to remote learning, in supporting you and building the skills to hold you accountable to getting your work done when you are working from an environment that is very different than what you're used to. So in navigating all of this, coaching is in the big picture support service for you so that you can raise your GPA, hone in on your academic goals, and define your path within ENVD, especially in the 3rd and 4th years. And so with that, you will see one-on-one coaching sessions that work the same way as advising sessions. You schedule an appointment through the Buff portal. And then also throughout the semester, we are offering, with the peer mentors that you are accustomed to in your 1st and 2nd years, we do workshops through Lunch and Learns, things like that, and work through the semester on a progression, building on a lot of these skills. And yeah, that's what coaching is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex.
Totally.
Very well. Let me tell you, if you're going to an advising session, I would say that all advisors have the ability to reserve appointments with Alex. So you can reach out to her via email or, in person, but in the event that, you're in an advising session with us, we can also do that for you and connect you as soon as we can. All right. So the component of why this transition occurs and why your advisor changes on a practical segment, you're really starting to embrace this upper division coursework, which is very much focused towards professionalization, which we'll get into later. At this point, you're accessing internships, research, and education abroad opportunities that are very design oriented. You really need a specific type of mindset and the student prep for them. You're also gaining very specific design industry skills that, if you're applying for jobs that they're going to ask you or they're going to, expect, or how, even if for certain internships are just a standard to have before you access them. And then, of course, you're engaging a professional network that is very much connected to ENVD, both of recent alumni and then, alumni that are a couple years out, and then alumni who have been around and been involved since the program's founding 50 years to the year, excuse me. So conceptually, you're talking about a broader studio culture change in specific faculty that our teach our 4,100, 3,100 level studios. You're really hashing on this professional development concept, not just the technical skills, but developing your own identity and kind of design identity. I would say your style. You have access to high impact opportunities by which you're developing this identity. And then you're embracing a growth mindset going forward. We'll get into growth mindset. You have kind of component on the switching over that Nate will cover, and kind of the concept and goals that go on. So Nate, if you don't mind taking that over.
All right, hi again, everybody. So as you make that transition up to your junior year, the whole sort of realm of advising changes, and the approach that we take with you as your advisors, as you come into our office or as you interact with us in other ways, changes quite a bit. And that really primarily is geared toward making sure that you're prepared to enter the workforce. And the way that we identify that, and you hear it a lot, is professional development. So, of course, when you'll be interested in talking about the courses that you're supposed to register for, which studios you should be registered for, and so on. But again, our advising meetings are geared toward making sure that you're mindful of what's necessary for you as you begin the pathway to a career, because that's really what we see your junior year becoming, is really beginning to develop and fortify that pathway into the professional workforce. So that's what a lot of our conversations are charged with. One of the questions that I ask almost every student every time they come into my office is, how's your portfolio? right? So I want you to be thinking about that now. I want you to be working on it now. Hopefully you'll have time this summer, and I'm sure you will, given our circumstances, to work on your portfolio. All of you that are hearing this message should have just passed a 2100 studio, so you have materials to place in your portfolio. I strongly suggest that you start working in an InDesign document and start throwing in some of your materials from this past studio and studios in semesters past into your portfolio. But we want to make sure that you have the best possible portfolio when you graduate into this program that will help you, that will help facilitate you getting your very first job in design. And also that will help you get internships along the way before you graduate. So portfolio is key. It's the primary piece that is going to really help you find success, at least in the early stages, as you become a design professional. Another important piece of gaining access into professional opportunities is getting to know the professional community. So we make sure and we try to connect you as much as we possibly can to current working professionals, whether they are alums of the program, new or old, folks who work for local or regional firms, folks who actually own firms. We try to stage as many events as possible to get you the opportunity to shake hands, to have conversations, to meet, to make friends with the professional community, because that is a primary resource for you to be successful in a design career. As you'll notice, as you kind of transfer into the 3100 and 4100 studios, the culture is different. It is much more professionalizing. There's much more at stake as far as the materials that you're working with and the outcomes of your studio projects, because it's these materials that will absolutely help you get a job. So I absolutely encourage you to take your upper division studios seriously and think about how you're crafting materials that are ultimately going to help you get a job or an internship. We do offer lots of resources for you to develop your professional materials, whether they are portfolio or your resume or even your ability to interact verbally with design professionals. We have a mentorship program that's available just by clicking a button on our Professional Development Services webpage, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But through that, you can submit a portfolio and get one of our faculty members to provide you with some mentoring and some instruction on how you can better your portfolio. So make sure you take care of that, you take advantage of that resource. I'm always available to talk about portfolios. I have many appointments per week where students come in with usually their initial portfolios, and I kind of help them get them ready so they can take them on to more advanced professionals in the field. So once you have that portfolio, once you have the design software skills, for architects, Revit, for planners, GIS and AutoCAD, and for landscape architects, AutoCAD, and for everybody, Adobe Suite. Once you have those software skills and a portfolio, you're ready to go out and see if you can find yourself a good internship. I provide lots of resources, as I hope you know, through the messaging that I send out to everybody. That messaging also finds its way into our webpage, our Professional Development Services webpage, that you can continue to access, and we keep it as current as possible. But I just encourage you to stay in contact with me if you're interested, because I have a pretty good set of relationships with members of the professional community, and I can help connect you, whether it's an internship or a job or just an opportunity to get mentored through from a professional. So let's please, let's stay in close contact. From there, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Roberto to talk about cultural competency.
Thank you, Nate. So the reason why we've incorporated cultural competency as part of the switchover is, as we're seeing, design professionals work with a variety of clientele, a variety of partners, both globally and locally from various backgrounds. So it is kind of an essential skill to have for a variety of reasons, or a combination of all of them in a way. So we have some that, if this is your passion, a lot of design focuses on, social dreaming and imagining and making an equitable outcomes for the future. And if that is your kind of call towards cultural competency in your design, definitely want to respect that. Also, it's part of the industry. it's an industry standard to have cultural competency and be able to work with these communities and capture their needs. And of course, these different partners that you'll be with. And then of course, and once again, it boils down to a matter of just equity. And that's something that ENVD has really tasked itself, ever since inception, but more specifically in these last couple of years and months, by changing its curriculum, by bringing on awesome faculty that have various backgrounds and perspectives, and of course, kind of working with students to help them build, very much more sustainable and socially equitable future. All right.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about a new set of programming that we have, and really you'll be the first generation of ENVD students to kind of take advantage of this. This is very much part of our new curriculum. And our new curriculum was designed to allow you to take a semester where you didn't have to take studio. But in order to, and you certainly can take studio every semester if you want to. But for those of you who'd like to sort of consider other pursuits academically, other courses across the curriculum at CU that you believe will contribute to your personal professional development, we've designed a professional development semester. Now, this semester can really be taken just about any time after you complete a 2100 studio. The purpose of this, again, I reiterate, the purpose of this semester is so that you can pursue some courses that will contribute to your professional development. But you just can't take any courses. We ask you to carefully consider what courses would contribute to your professional development. And we have an application which will be available on our Professional Development Services webpage, but also your advisor can provide you with the application link, where you identify the courses that you'd like to take, and also provide a justification of why they will contribute to your professional development. Now, we do recognize that some courses that you might want to take that would contribute aren't taught during the same semester. And so we absolutely have that contingency. But one course, we're asking that you take 6 credits, which is usually 2 courses, at least 6 credits to contribute to this professional development requirement. And the semester that you do not take studio, you have to take at least one of those courses during that semester. Again, the courses that you identify might be a sequence. You take one before the other, or simply the 2 courses aren't offered during the same semester, but you do have to take at least one of your professional development courses during the semester you've designated not to have studio. I suspect that you will have questions about this, but just keep in mind, this is an opportunity for you to pursue really great professional opportunities throughout the curriculum, whether it's a certificate program like the Great Lighting Design Certificate Program that a lot of students pursue, or the business minor, or courses over in the arts program, or the technology, arts, and media program. I could go on and on about all the great programs that you could look at that could contribute to your professional development. So this is a great opportunity to consider those and pursue those in a semester where you do not have the pressures of studio. And again, there's an application process, and I'm sure you have further questions about this. Feel free to reach out to us as advisors, and we can provide you more information and also the link for the application to list your professional development courses in the semester in which you want to take them.
Thank you, Nate. Definitely something to look forward to regularly for all of our students going forward. All right, so we have some recommendations that Nate would like to go over. This, we have provided a lot of broader changes to ENVD as well as the direction of professional development with the ENVD, but we want to give you some cool tips and just things that are going to give you a boost, both as a student and then as an aspiring design professional. So Nate, if you want to take it away.
So it's all too often, right now, Roberto and I, we're just at the beginning of May as we're recording this, we're working on getting students who are supposed to be graduating in May, graduated. And I can't tell you how much we're having to deal with students who never completed their math and natural science requirements. Please do not let this be you. Please do all you can to address your math and natural science requirements before your senior year. Now, I applaud all of you who have already completed your math and natural science requirements, whether it's been physics or pre-calc or statistics, or the geography courses such as landscapes and water. Good job. Successful outcome for you. I suspect probably half of you have not. Once you get past your sophomore year in this program, it is very difficult to take math and science courses just because of the pressures of studio. So typically what Roberto and I is direct students to completing these requirements during the summer. So I would definitely think about what's going to be happening in your lives the upcoming summer if you have not completed your math and science requirements, and turn some time over to completing those. We do find that it is a little less expensive to complete these courses if you take them during the summertime at a community college. We do have actually a lot of students who complete them over community college as well during the regular semesters, in addition to the regular CU workload. But they do seem to be a little less rigorous and a little less expensive. So we'd encourage you to consider community college. Front Range Community College offers all the classes, all the courses that you need to complete your math and science requirements. So carefully consider that. Don't leave these courses to the end. In many students' cases, they contribute to graduating later than people anticipate. And you don't want to have to take physics in the last semester of your senior year while you're trying to professionalize yourself and get ready to enter the workforce. I guarantee you it's a bad move. So please, if you haven't completed them yet, consider doing them over summertime. I also want to make sure that you're prepared. I mentioned this briefly a moment ago, but I want to make sure you're prepared with the technological requirements you're going to need to enter the field or to get an internship. You know, the majority of the folks that we're speaking to are probably interested in architecture as a career, or at least majoring in architecture in this program. If you want to get an internship or a job in architecture, you must be proficient in Revit. Do not let what you might have experienced earlier in the program fool you. I recognize there is a bit of an emphasis on Rhino. The truth of the matter is, at least right now, in the current industry conditions in architecture, Revit is your primary software platform. That's what you're going to be asked to be equipped with and to use proficiently 90% of the time in any architecture internship or job. It is Revit. I'd say probably number 2 would be AutoCAD, followed by SketchUp. And then, of course, everybody needs to be very conversant in the Adobe suite, particularly Illustrator and InDesign. But again, Revit is your software platform for you architects. Please take a Revit course. We just began this upcoming semester, fall 2020, offering Revit 2. We will continue to offer Revit 1 and 2. We offer these every single semester, including summer Maymester. So please take advantage of those software platforms. You know, as I mentioned before, for you landscape architects, you're going to need to know the Adobe suite quite well as AutoCAD. Typically in upper division landscape architecture studios, you'll get a lot of AutoCAD training. So be aware of that. And for planning students, although it is no longer a required part of the curriculum, I strongly, strongly encourage you to take Geographic Information Systems, GIS, Geography. The Geography program here at CU offers wonderful GIS courses. We offer them occasionally, but I typically recommend that students take the Geography route. The course is Geography 3053. You'll obviously forget that, so check back with me on that. But GIS is an essential part of your training if you want to go into planning as a professional career. For product design, learn everything. There is an emphasis here in Rhino. You'll definitely use the Adobe suite in any product design internship or job that you go into. But Rhino, and certainly getting into the digital fabrication is good. Learning the Grasshopper plugin is excellent. So prepare yourself for that. So there are some things to keep in mind. These are extraordinarily important if you want to make yourself an awesome candidate in the workforce and also get through this program without having to sweat it out in your last couple of semesters with math and science.
Absolutely. And just to kind of reiterate Nate's point is, you know, you do get exposure to some of these technical platforms in your earlier studios, or if you've done so far. You know, some students have, you know, expressed like, oh, I should be good on these skills. Why would I need to take Revit? It's kind of like a, you know, think of it as a muscle. The more you train it, the better off you are, and the more things that you're able to commit to memory. So when you're, you know, transferring to your first job or your major professional internship, these things seem seamless, and your transition is seamless as well. On a side note, for these, you know, community college classes, I find, you know, even in this certain, you know, semester, a lot of our students will require them to take these courses outside of CU back home, since plenty of students are out of state. So you have any question about these courses, math or natural science courses, mostly physics and pre-calc or calculus, transferring back, take a look at transferology.com. It's a good, really easy to use transfer credit evaluation. And of course, just ask myself or Nate. Awesome. So you have a couple more recommendations continued. If you want to touch those, brief, Nate.
Yeah, so I already covered GIS here. That's our first bullet point. I do strongly recommend that all of you look at Environmental Design 3150, ENVD 3150, our professional communications course. That's taught by Marianne Fontales, who's an excellent instructor. This course really allows you to kind of dig in and kind of think about some of the logistical pieces that you need to kind of develop your professional materials. A lot of this course involves, as it identifies itself for professional communications, which means verbal communications, written communications. I find that Marianne does a really good job in thinking about the portfolio and the type of written work that needs to go into a portfolio, such as captioning, your visual parts of your portfolio. She's working on resumes with students. She brings people in to talk about portfolio. I come in and talk about portfolio and other professional development needs. It's an excellent course. You should take it. Everybody, as I've stressed in this presentation, everybody needs a portfolio. We do offer a graphic design portfolio course that's an excellent way to really develop a strong portfolio and do it with some people who know the graphic design programs really well and are equipped to help you develop a really great design portfolio. So that course, graphic design, it's called Graphic Design Portfolio. Watch out for that. It's hard to get in. We usually have about 25 to 50 seats depending upon the semester. So watch out for that and make it a definite priority to take that course. For those of you who'd like to do an internship and receive academic credit for it, we offer that through our internship for credit program. Once you are offered an internship, and I can help you with that, but once you're offered an internship and you'd like to get credit, we can set you up by enrolling you in the internship for credit course. And so during the period of time that you're doing your internship, you're also enrolled in a course. The course, in terms of it being an actual academic course, is quite light. It's just a few meetings with me and the other interns. And really what we're doing is we're helping you develop some of the materials that you are producing in your internship into something you can actually place into your portfolio. It's only 4 meetings throughout the course of the semester. It's rather minimal compared to the internship experience. For those of you who are doing a summer internship and don't want to pay for the credit during the summertime, I allow those of you who are interested in getting credit to actually do the summer internship, but then register for the internship course and get credit for that internship in the fall semester. So keep that in mind, and then just let me know if you need further information about that. So finally, we are academic advisors. We've talked a lot about professional development through the course of this meeting, but we want to make sure that you're taking the right courses, that you understand your degree audits, you understand how your degree audits need to look in order for you to actually have your graduation facilitated smoothly. So it's always good to check in with us every semester, to just have a sit down, look through your audit, look through your registration, making sure that you're on track. We're here to advise you. We're here to advise you about your courses in addition to professional development. So please make sure you're checking in with us regularly so that we can make sure to have those checks with you and ensure that you're on track for graduation.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nate, for sharing that. Just want to go into high impact opportunities and practices. And you'll kind of hear this in the professional development community as, student development theory is just kind of a buzzword, but specifically what it does is that it allows you to develop your professional identity through exposure, access, support, and kind of this resilience. And just anecdotally on that last point, resilience, a lot of students, come to Nate and myself, facing things such as, job rejection, or they're had a terrible interview. The sooner you do it and the more you do it, the better. The resilience kind of just creates strength, and just part of the professional industry. Sometimes students don't have what they need or just don't have the right connections, and that's okay. So the more that you apply and that you expose yourself to positive and negative, experiences in the job and professional development, field, the better off you are. So the ways that you do that are through high impact practices, which I'll let you cover what they look like within ENVD.
So a point that I want to make, which is related to this high impact practices business. I mean, getting an internship is a high impact practice. I mean, having an experience outside of the classroom that both supplements and contributes to the classroom experience, but also your professional development and your educational development. These are all high impact practices. So we have kind of a list of ones there. One thing where I think where the high impact practices start is by coming to our office or meeting with us via Zoom, if that's the way we have to do it, and just having a conversation about what your identity as a designer is, what your interests are, what you see yourself doing, what you love, what really gets you excited about design or any other thing, related to your professional interests and your academic interests. That's the beginning. That's the first high impact practice, I think, that we undertake here. Preferably, we have these conversations with you sooner than later. Because what that does is that starts you in a pathway of thought and consideration as you're developing your identity as a designer. And once you identify that and build upon that and iterate upon that in your mind, then you can start talking about it to other people. You can share this with your parents during Thanksgiving dinner. You can, start talking about it with your classmates and your instructors. And most importantly, you can start telling professionals what your primary interests are and identity are as a designer. And that really helps. That really helps in job interviews. That helps as you're writing up your professional materials and your portfolios and your resumes and your cover letters to really kind of have a good idea of what you are as a professional or what you are becoming as a professional. And we really start that conversation with you when you come into our offices and want to talk about your pathway going forward. So that initiation into thinking about yourself professionally really feeds into all of these other high impact practices that you can take advantage of in various shapes and forms. We've talked about developing portfolios and that you can have access to both myself and Roberto and the faculty members to really mentor you as you develop your portfolio. That's available by coming into our offices. That's available by clicking a link on our webpage, and submitting your portfolio through that process. There's opportunities for you to engage faculty and other members of the academic community here at CU and do research and take those research interests outside or off of campus as you inquire about aspects of design or planning or sustainability that you're interested in through personal research. And you can actually get funding through that formally through CU through what's called a UROP grant. So we can consider that further if you're interested in. If you'd like to do some very rigorous, robust research, you may do that formally in the program in ENVD through undertaking an honors thesis. That process starts the second semester of your junior year as you think about a potential project, as you complete an application and have conversations with faculty members that can mentor you through this process, and then actually undertake a research thesis project through your senior year. Many of our students are interested in studying abroad. We have a lot of wonderful global opportunities in design and outside of design. The way that we built the curriculum now, you could potentially do a non-design program if that's your interest, but we have plenty of design programs and some upcoming that can allow you to engage in studio work if that's your choice. And we also have professional opportunities, or at least work opportunities in the program through opportunities such as teaching assistantships, where you can actually work with an instructor as they teach a studio course or a more conceptual lecture course. And so all these opportunities are available for you. We do find that the more that you take advantage, the more that students take advantage of these high impact practices, the more they grow professionally and the better prepared they are and the more credentials they have to join the workforce and feel real confidence as they go into joining the workforce, as they prepare with their professional materials and also to go out and undertake interviews with folks in firms and so on. So please take advantage of these.
Yeah, and to kind of support that, those points brought up, I find that ENVD has plenty of entry points for participation. I think we see kind of this core, cluster of students who are kind of, I would say, ENVD rock stars. They involved with a lot, and through those involvement, that's where they're really building those key skills and connections going forward. Now, if you're in periphery and you're kind of down the round, especially as a lower division student, upper division is definitely the time to get involved with either a student group or work opportunities. If not a TA, then you say you work at the SYNC or the DMC. That those are all very cool skills and, professional development that doesn't look like, in the studio or in the classroom per se. So get involved. And if you have any questions about how to do that, which there are plenty, come to myself, Nate, and of course, Alex here. Also along talking about high impact opportunities through coaching. I believe there's a connection to be made there. Awesome. So I gave a chance of opportunity for Nate to go over his website, which is very robust and provides a lot of regular and updated information here. So Nate, take it away yet again.
So here we go. This time referring to our webpage. It is accessible through the regular environmental design website. So it's professional development services, and you'll find that in the menu on the right-hand side. We offer a lot. As I've said, you can come in and schedule an appointment with myself as the director of ENVD Professional Services to talk about anything really related to developing and preparing yourself for a career. I do, as I've said, offer the opportunity to come in and just kind of get going on the portfolio. I know it's a scary experience for a lot of you, but the best thing you can do is just throw something together that's not very good. And I'm not a scary person. I'm not one of your instructors. I'm not a professional in the field. So I'm a good person to kind of kick off your first portfolio with and kind of go over ways that you can edit, and then we can get you on to an instructor or a professional to help you develop it. So that's one of the services that we provide. Hopefully you pay attention to the communication that I send you about new jobs and internships. We turn around and post all of those on our webpage so that they're all available for you to look over again. I strongly encourage you to read over the opportunities, because if you do, then you know exactly what's necessary to apply later when you're ready to apply for an internship or a job. But you'll notice, as I've said, for architects, you'll see a lot of Revit there as one of the primary qualifications for a job. But look over, you'll see what qualifies you for a job, and you can prepare yourself by looking at the opportunities that we post. You can also attach your portfolio through a link on our webpage that will eventually end up in the lap of one of our instructors, who will be able to then meet with you and kind of help you, guide you through developing your portfolio. Also, once you're ready to designate a semester and identify classes for your professional development semester, that link will be available on the webpage as well. We also have really cool stories about students who are in current internships, some of our alums, what they're up to, just a few other stories as well. We had a student who interned with the United Nations in Nairobi, Kenya, in Africa, this semester in the spring 2020. There's a cool article about her and what her experience was in Africa as a planning intern with the United Nations. So we have cool stuff, cool information, really great resource for you as you're preparing yourself to make sure you're ready to get an internship or whatever else you're looking for in terms of developing yourself professionally.
Thanks, Nate. And kind of highlighting toward the end, we really talked about alumni and how integral they are a part of our community and part of our professional development services. They're regular partners that are awesome and just really, really quick to kind of get involved or jump on any opportunity to help our students in any way that Nate, myself, or the rest of advising kind of needs in that moment. So I'll just cover the kind of the alumni experience and of course some expectations of students as they exit from ENVD into the professional field. Nate, it'd be great.
So I want to make this really clear to everybody. Regardless of whether you're a current student or alumni to the program, you always have access to our resources, lifelong. I have alumni members coming to me, particularly the younger ones who graduated in the last couple of years. They come back to me all the time with help with their portfolio, with assistance getting a new job or their first job. We are absolutely equipped and available to work with you once you graduate from the program. We always want to maintain that relationship. Eventually, you'll be in a position where you don't need our help, right? You'll be in a position where you can help us. So, as the alumni coordinator for the program, I'm always keen to maintain communication with you. I'm gonna, try to contact you as much as, well, not as much as possible, but as much as appropriate, to make sure that we know where you're at, what you're doing, where you're working. Really helps us, in terms of connecting and creating networks. So please, I encourage you to consider, your life after ENVD and the communication that you maintain with our program, because it's very likely that you'll want to get back involved and come back and be involved in juries and be involved in like working face-to-face with students and be involved in events with students. We're bringing alumni back all of the time to kind of meet up with students and talk about their experiences and share their experiences with students and make sure that they're prepared to enter the professional community. So it works both ways. You can be an absolute asset to the program once you graduate from ENVD, and we'll absolutely be calling upon you. So please keep that in mind. Our services are for you, and we're all set to have your services available to us.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. So, we have some time to discuss specifically one of my, let's say, critical roles to ENVD, and that's graduation coordination. And specifically on my end, that's making sure that you graduate with a diploma and a degree that is official, that says, your Bachelor's of Environmental Design, BEV. Great thing. So, kind of just as the graduation coordinator, my job really is to kind of finally sign off on your degree audit and make sure that all edits are made. Nate and myself have been really, working diligently on our current students and making sure they're well taken care of well before, our final reports are due. If there's any lingering questions, a lot of our current spring graduates have been taken care of, both as through our, proactive looking at their degree audits, but of course them meeting with us, and if they're looking at their degree audits kind of regularly and say this doesn't look right, just come to us, and then we work on that and expedite that. So just as an overview of what a typical graduation timeline looks like for spring and fall, this is pretty consistent for every term, even summer as well. You have kind of an application that opens early in the previous term. Maybe we had students who are applying for spring graduation as early as kind of November. So it's never too early to just start thinking about when your graduation and what your timeline looks like, and we can help plan that out, specifically Nate and myself. You get regular communications from January and February to apply, and you get really regular communication, especially this semester, given the certain changes and what commencement looks like. I think our communications team has done a great job of just providing what their graduation is going to look like and what's needed of students. You have essentially a April 1st deadline to apply with your name of commencement. Obviously, that was changed this semester to be April 30th for kind of programming and name in the commencement. And then from there, obviously it's no longer May 7th, but May 16th here soon, we'll be having an online ceremony. And then of course, ENVD piloting its own ceremony, virtual ceremony. So an early in degree, especially for those who are working with their, already have job offers or working on a, professional, internship as they're heading out, kind of will lead into a job. They're really looking with degrees of transcripts. That's available as soon as June 5th, I want to say. And a larger reminder as a graduation coordinator, you're going to need two things: a degree audit that is complete, so green and blue across the board if whenever you pull that up, and we can make the exceptions if there's anything that should be met, hasn't been met, or as we said before, there's students who take concurrent community college classes their spring. So they did take physics as they're in their 4100 studio. Not the best route as Nate said, but that's something that we're looking at to make sure that they're on time to graduate. So complete audit, and then 120 credits of completion. So I know we've had some students who have been 2 credits, 1 credit short. There's students who have 0.1 based on transfer credits that we've been able to work with seamlessly. So if you see any of that and your credit hours aren't adding up, or we have an advising meeting that will recount those and they don't add up, we'll work on that issue. So the point is, access your degree audit quite regularly, and if you have questions about graduation, come to myself and Nate. All right, so let's just say that we are closing on our presentation here. Thank you for listening to this and taking the time to see all the ample resources that are available for you from here, and even as Nate said, lifelong as an alumni of ENVD. Obviously, we don't have opportunity to have a Q&A, but we want to make sure that you have a feel that you can follow up with us. Any questions on this presentation and your transition in fall just email us and speak to any of us at any time. So I'm going to X out of this share screen, and just if you have any last remaining points, I just want to say bye. That'd be great.
Well, I hope everybody has a great summer. My primary point would be to use it productively. Hopefully we can get back to a point where we can be together as a community, and both in your hometowns, and also here on campus. But I suspect you're going to be spending a lot of time at home over the summertime, so please use it productively. Make sure that you're working on your professional materials. Right now is prime time. People are working on portfolio, and I guarantee it will serve you well if you can get some work done on that. And then please come back and share with me and share with us what you've come up with. We'll be happy to guide you and get you in the right direction and make sure that your portfolio can be the best it can be. We'd love you by the end of the fall semester 2020 to have an excellent portfolio so that you can go and get like the best design internship for the summer of 2021. That's my ultimate goal for you. So keep that in mind. It all starts this summer. You can use it productively, or you can't, but if you do, you can really get yourself ahead of things. But anyway, have a great summer. Can't wait to see you all and meet many of you coming up in the fall.
Awesome. Thank you, Nate. Just want to say also, take the advantage of your summer. If you're taking some community college classes, that's great, but also have some fun. Kind of, if you know any alumni or other, upper division folks I've been meeting, talk with them, kind of hear what's going on in the industry. I'm sure Nate, if you want to kind of mention your kind of what's happening here May 7th in terms of kind of happy hours. But
yeah, that's a good point, Roberto. We're hosting a happy hour here in 2 days, May 7th. So hopefully you get this before then and watch it before then. And this may be a series. We'll see how it goes, where we're allowing the professional community to engage with our students, particularly graduating seniors, but anybody's invited to attend and take part. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. We're calling it a happy hour for networking and also to gain an understanding of the current professional conditions in the field of design. So we have a panel of a few design professionals, many of whom own their own firms, who are going to be talking about like what the state of their businesses are, how it's going, how they think things will be going in the future, and so on. So it's meant to give a realistic portrait of what the state of the design field is right now in the context of COVID, and how design professionals think things will turn out here in the coming months. So if you're interested, let me know. I'll get you the Zoom link. I have been advertising this to students, and I think I'm going to advertise it more generally here, so you'll have the Zoom link to participate if you'd like to come. It'll be very informal. Rather than folks speaking at you, it's going to be hopefully more of a Q&A, more of a kind of an informal conversation. So that's coming up.
Thanks, Nate. I just wanted to highlight that as just kind of a regular alumni and professional industry engagement, even via Zoom, it is possible. Alex, do you have any final points or coaching reminders for everybody here that'll be watching this video?
Yeah, to kind of close out, in regards to all of this information, which thankfully you can watch over again at your reference, coaching is there to supplement the portfolio development, staying on course with the online courses, especially in Maymester with the fast pace of that. Please reach out and email. My contact information will be attached to any emails going out. And yeah, have a good summer. Soak up some sun, keep at it, definitely use your time productively. I second that wholeheartedly, and hopefully looking forward to seeing this community come back soon.
Awesome. Well, y'all, school's out for summer, and unless you're doing Maymester, of course, but after Maymester, have a great summer. All right, take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.